The Great Betrayal. After the Great Council, Dekalb and Honsilner reconvened the council as a council of war. Hontalmuth and his faction did not attend, for they wished to distance themselves from any conflict. Before the council of war began, Honsilner advised that an anti-magic field be erected, to inhibit any magical surveillance of their council. A side effect of this field would be that no one would be able to enter or leave the Caves of Sorrow until the field was taken down from within. Dekalb agreed, thinking it a sensible and wise suggestion, and together they sealed the entrance. As a prayer was being said to Aegis, god of war, the Alder were betrayed. Laurelin had conspired to slip some merged Xkrach into the council of war under the guise of Honsilner faction members. These master wielders of sound and light were able to pose as perfect imitations, the real faction members lying slain by Laurelin's hand. The disguised Xkrach struck with immensely powerful beams of light, striking down many of the Alder in Dekalb's faction. Honsilner was dumbfounded. Never entirely persuaded by Dekalb's assurances, he faltered and turned traitor to the Alder. Honsilner truly believed that Laurelin was right and simply wanted time to persuade Dekalb to see the light of reason. He had agreed with Laurelin that the other Alder should be subdued and restrained for the duration of the war. Afterwards, they would soon, so Laurelin said, see the wisdom of Honsilner's decision, as Laurelin's rule brought creation into a new and enlightened age. When he witnessed the Xkrach striking down the opposing Alder, he immediately realized that he had been doubly betrayed. Not only were Laurelin's crystal beings killing Alder, but they must have already assassinated most of his faction in order to infiltrate the Cave of Sorrow disguised as his comrades. Outrage filled his mind and he screamed to his battlemaster, Yansort, an Alder of legendary skill, to slay the Xkrach. Immediately, the voice of Laurelin filled his head, telling him that he must go on, or she would subject him to an eternity of pain and suffering. It was at this moment that Honsilner realized he was no longer master of his own fate and was simply a pawn in a game beyond his understanding. He had only wanted to regain the Alder their position, as favored children of the gods, and eliminate the bastard humans. Yet, Honsilner had no choice. He could not directly contest with a god and could not face the prospect of being singled out for punishment by Laurelin. So, he quickly ordered Yansort and the other Alder that followed him to slay Dekalb and company. The Xkrach were, by this time, being overwhelmed by Dekalb's faction, as they erected barriers to prevent the deadly focused light from reaching them. Then, like a crazed demon, Yansort struck. A whirling frenzy of death, he cut down a score of Alder on his way to Dekalb. Dekalb knew he was doomed, for all knew of Yansort's unparalleled ability. Nevertheless, Dekalb was also a fine fighter and few could match his prowess at sorcery. Conjuring a sword of pure hissing power, he bravely went to face Yansort. Within half a minute, Dekalb was bleeding from a myriad of wounds, where Yansort's scimitar had sliced into him, and suffering from a broken shoulder where Yansort's mace had smashed into it. It was over quickly after that, and the rest of the Alder, trying to escape, but prevented by the anti-magic field, were slaughtered like pigs. Daedalus, who felt the death of Dekalb but could not aid him due to the interference of Callus and Agathis, wept, for the Great Betrayal, as it was so named later, was also the first instance of murder among the Alder.